adjustment for. That say, what if hand size had something to do with this? We might put it in there if it was correlated with the dependent variable, and we're uninterested in it. So it was just confounding us. That's what we're going to use the covariate for. But in this case, we need to do either. We don't need to do either one of those. We're just putting our two fixed factors in the analysis. Now, there's a couple things I want to do under the options here. One, I want to create a plot. Okay, so horizontal and separate lines. Depending on your preference of how you want to see the graph, it's which one you'll put. You can put, for example, factor A in the horizontal lines, or you could put it in the separate lines. It's up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and just put factor A into horizontal axes. And I'm going to put factor B. Let's see, factor A. No, the book did it the other way, so I'm going to go ahead and do it the other way. So I'm going to put factor B into horizontal axes and factor A into separate lines. Yep. And again, neither one's wrong. It's just how you want to look at it. Now, once I've bumped them both over, I need to click the Add button down here. So I'm going to click Add. Okay, and then I'll just go ahead and say Continue. Now, I also want to go to Options, and I want to get the means out, the descriptive statistics. So here's our options: the overall mean, the factor A means, the factor B means. These are marginal means, and then the interaction. So I'm just going to select all those. I just held down the Shift key, clicked through them. I'm going to bump them over and just ask for the descriptive statistics. So in the reporting of a manuscript, you'll need the means because basically it's a means model, and the mean differences for the main effect and the interactions will be part of the story. Once you've done all that, you're just going to go down and hit the Continue button. Now, once we hit Continued, we'll go down and click on Paste, and that'll paste the syntax into the syntax window. Now, again, if you have an open syntax window, you'll have to go click to it using the tabs on the below. If it's the first time the syntax window's open, then it'll open it automatically and you'll go to that. So from here, I'll go ahead and to my syntax window, and there's my syntax for this analysis. So then I'll go ahead and block this data, hold down my left key and drag over it, and then I'll hit the triangle, the green triangle to run the analysis. Then I'll see my analysis here in the output window, and I see factor A, factor B, and the combination of those, and then I see the means, the standard deviations, and the size of the sample for each cell. So then we see our test of between subjects effects, and this is our main ANOVA table. This is for our APA, writing it up for our statistical significance. We see factor A, B, and factor A times B, and then the error, the total corrected, blah, blah, blah. We'll be using that, again, to pull information out about statistical significance. Here we see our marginal means, for example, for factor A for level 1 and level 2, and then for factor B, level 1, 2, and 3. These are, again, the marginal means for the analysis. Here we see the factor A star factor B. These are the cell means. So for the first row and columns 1, 2, and 3, so factor A level 1, factor B 1, 2, and 3, factor A level 2, factor B 1, 2, and 3. So these are the cell means for the analysis. So what we want to do now is just copy the ANOVA table, the tests between subjects effects, copy that over to the assignment. So just go in there and Control C that. Then go ahead and paste it into the assignment. In addition to the ANOVA table, you want to bring in the marginal means and the cell means, because this will be important to your interpretation for your manuscript. Let's go ahead and bring in the table as well, the profile plots. And this is a showing the factor A versus the factor B, and bring this over into your assignment as well. Here we see a plot of the means, and these are the cell means. So we have factor A and factor B, and you can see where the means were. So the highest thing here was where factor A was 1 and factor B was 3. And likewise, you can see factor A level 2 is lower everywhere. So these are showing you where the means are. And again, this is the means model. We're interpreting the means. Now we're ready to write up the APA for factor A, factor B, and factor A times B, the interaction effect. And if you look on the ANOVA table, we look on the line here for A, we see the degrees of freedom and the mean squared error and the F and the sig value. So if we're going to write up A, we want it's an F test. You see that the column that says F, and the degrees of freedom for the factor A are 1, and then we're going to use the error term, 1 and 23. So 1 comma 23, close parenthesis. The value of F is 21.935, and comma, is it P greater than or less than 0.05? And here we see it's less than 0.05, so it's statistically significant. So we're looking on the row for factor A, and again it's an F, and there's 1 degree of freedom, but the error degrees of freedom is 23, so it's 1 comma 23, close paren. The value of the F value, again on the row for factor A, is 21.935, comma, and it's P less than 0.05. So these are our 3 tests for our 2 main effects, and factor A, factor B, and then our interaction effects. So this is what would go in our paper as far as statistical significance. Then you would also go back and talk about the mean differences and et cetera, et cetera. And we'll cover more of that when we get into 516, EFR 516. So that's all I want for this assignment. Thank you.